Okay, this is the women's 200-meter butterfly at the 2025 Toronto Grand Prix. In lane 4, we are looking at Nina Mollin. We are going to watch the whole race all at once in one go, and then I'll be providing some commentary for Nina afterwards.
Let's fucking go.
Well, I'm going to have to be a bit more careful when I'm recording races, but great swim. So let's take a look at the start here, okay? Ideally, I'd have a better position. I lost track of time on the pool deck and realized I wouldn't be able to get up into the stands to catch you, more side on. But overall, you look like you're in a pretty good set position. I'm expecting me panning right in these frames is indicative that the go has just occurred. And I'm right because we can see the first thing you do is a head lift. Ideally, that back foot is the first thing that's firing. You're getting your head high, your hips are actually dropping. I doubt that there doesn't seem to be much forward motion with those hips. Firing that back leg first is going to mean that those hips move forward, and if your hips are moving forward, your body is moving forward. So cutting out that step where you go head up and instead are essentially going to fire that back leg first is a bit more ideal. But good extension on that back foot. Head might be a little bit low. Good extension on the front foot. A little crossed, right? We can see your right hip is a bit lower than your left hip, inverse of that. Your right hip is a bit higher than your left hip. That twist occurring on the dive. Come on, here we are. Maybe a tighter core will help with that. Getting a bit of tension in the core and through your trunk. Pointing those toes. Driving off the blocks will help with that. Well, let's check it out. Very slow and lackadaisical underwater, but I also understand this is the 200 butterfly, so that makes sense. But philosophy is that regardless of event that you're swimming in, the fastest you're ever moving is in the air off the blocks. The second time you're moving fast, or the second fastest portion of any swim, is the underwater after the dive. The third fastest is the underwater after a push, and the third or fourth fastest, the slowest part of any swim, is the swim. So theoretically, there is opportunity there for you to probably be spending a little bit more energy on the underwaters, and as a result, seeing more meters in the race spent at a higher speed, which is hopefully going to obviously result in a reduction in time. Very nice stroke, very arm oriented. Not much kick going on though. I don't care how strong your arms are. I don't care how strong anyone's arms are. Your legs are stronger. It's an opportunity that I don't think that you're necessarily leveraging. There are two kicks in the butterfly, the small kick and the big kick. The small kick is more than anything a repositioning. There doesn't need to be much, if any, energy really expended on it, because all you're trying to do is lower your feet, pop your hips so that we can get a dive, and you can see that you're achieving that. Great. But the pull and the kick propelling us up and forward is where all, if not, most, if not all, of our propulsion is coming from. Like I said, you're very arms oriented, which is fine, but there is an opportunity there to integrate a bigger kick. You can see on your breathing strokes that you compensate for having to come higher by using a bit more of a kick. Let's use that kick all the time. Couple bad, I won't say bad, but not great breaths coming into the 100-meter wall here. And I'd say that because do you see how short that stroke looked? And you still had to take another short stroke. We want to hit the wall correctly, right? Every time that we're coming into the wall when we're doing, any stroke, but there's definitely an extra added mentality in the butterfly and in the breaststroke that we want to really hit the wall nicely so that we can push off the wall nicely too. Instead of making a stroke adjustment, 2 stroke adjustments there and there so that you hit nicely, I'd rather see smaller adjustments occur from here coming in. You have 6 or 7 strokes of making small adjustments, knowing that you're coming up against the wall, making an educated guess, 6-7 meters out on what you're going to need to do to have the least affected strokes, the least changed strokes as possible hitting the wall, I think is a better strategy to have. It's a hard habit to form, it's a hard strategy and a hard tactic to form, but it is a pretty deadly one, and it's certainly an elite one. But just going back to the point, we can see that your breaths here aren't really affecting your size of stroke. That's where I almost said that the other breaths coming into the wall there were bad, because they clearly affected your stroke. If this is what your breathing is capable of yielding, we want to see your breathing only look like that. A couple of shorter strokes there, coming into the wall, making those obvious adjustments. I'd rather be tricked. I'd rather it look like you're in the middle of the pool about to hit the wall than clearly approaching the wall. Great power. This is an awesome race. You are driving for this. And we can see that when you're driving for it, your big kick is definitely more present. So if your 200 butterfly or your 100 butterfly or your 50 butterfly can look more like this for longer, whether that means you need to be training legs, training kick, I would say that that's a great opportunity for you, because I think that there's a pretty significant tone difference between this final 50, which makes sense, right? We'd expect the last 50 for you to be gunning for it. But this swimmer looks very different than this swimmer. Overall, though, really nice race.